months, that's no VAT, no deposit, no interest. We give you more, so you save more. Receive up to $3,000 in cashback credit. Save up to 60% off your insurance premium. Get your personalized TDC token for 2 years of instant savings. Plus, save thousands in free extras. Get more than just VAT from TDC Automotive. We're number one for a reason. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey kids, drink healthy!
Reduce sugar chubby with the same great taste. Lots of magic fruity flavors, drink the more healthy way.
It tastes so yummy, chubby, chubby, chubby.
25% less sugar chubby. Be active, be healthy, drink lots of chubby. Kicking football, playing cricket, having fun in the sun.
It's chubby.
Reduced sugar chubby keeps you cool and refreshed.
It tastes so yummy, chubby, chubby, chubby.
25% less sugar chubby. Jumping rope, running races, have fun.
It tastes so yummy, chubby.
Drink the more healthy way!
Good morning, St. Kitts and Nevis, and welcome to another edition of Voices right here on 1FM 98.9. Today we have in our studios members of the St. Kitts National Youth Parliament Association, SCNIPA, and they are here to speak about their recent mock parliament sitting, which took place on Wednesday, November 25th at the National Assembly Chambers. And the two bills that were debated, the Sexual Harassment Bill 20...
And a resolution.
And a resolution. So, sorry, it was one bill and a resolution. The Sexual Harassment Bill 2020 and a resolution, the adoption of a national cultural policy. I am your host for today, Devon Cornelius, but today is not about me, today is about SCNIPA. I will allow Mr. Ferguson, who represents the government side, to give a short, brief opening sentences.
Okay, good morning. I'm Malachi Ferguson, the Public Relations Officer for SCNIPA. And the debate on November 25th, we debated, I acted as Prime Minister, as Devon would have mentioned. We debated the adoption of the National Cultural Policy and the Sexual Harassment Bill 2020. So our sexual harassment bill, it actually started the 16-day activism against gender-based violence, and the cultural policy. These are two topics that we found pertinent and timely to be discussed, and that's why we chose them for that.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And we also have Mr. Alaric Arachi. He represented the opposition benches, and I think you spoke on the adoption of a national cultural policy. Go ahead.
Yes, so good morning again. My name is Alaric Arachi, general member of SCNIPA currently. So yes, we debated the adoption of a cultural policy. I was the deputy leader of the opposition. And this, we find, is a prominent topic now, mainly because, you're shifting from a tourism industry and, well, not shifting, but the tourism sector is currently suffering, and there might have to be a shift sometime soon. And so we need to start to look at our culture and how our culture can come into play. And not only culture as an industry, but education and public awareness and what's not when it comes to our locals, persons from St. Kitts and Nevis, and so on.
Right, very good. And as Malachi said, I think the bill and the resolution is quite timely. Firstly, the sexual harassment bill, yes, because we're currently doing or bringing awareness to the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And some time ago, I had a discussion on this topic. And, a few persons were of the opinion that, well, we just decided to talk about it now. But gender-based violence has always been a problem, not just here in St. Kitts and Nevis, but across the Caribbean, where we see alarming statistics from the relevant authorities in regards to the many men and women, girls and boys that are being abused, whether it be sexually, physically, verbally, you name it. And so Sniper, they took that initiative to bring this issue to the forefront by facilitating a parliament sitting and to speak on these bills. Now I see that Mr. Arachi has a whole book over there, and I think he would want to begin the discussion on the cultural policy, and so I would allow him to get right into his discussion for this morning.
Well, just to sort of bring some awareness of what our policy was comprised of, we wanted to introduce some sort of implementations to nicely smooth out the cultural policy and whatnot. So we had some points. We had effectively allows for ease access of funds by entrepreneurs wishing to enter or expand their reach in the orange economy. And first of all, the orange economy is like sort of the creative arts economy, creative arts industry and whatnot. And that is a big economy nowadays, because even in the tourism sector, you would find that the tourism calls on, well, not necessarily calls, but it's comprised of culture. Tourists don't come here just for the beaches. They come to see the heritage, they come to see the people, they come to enjoy our culture. And so we have to some sort of develop our cultural department, and that is why this policy is in place.
And just to add, the cultural policy, this doesn't have to just do with our carnival. Culture is way more than carnival. This policy addressed that. This policy spoke about education, because we see, when we're doing our research, we see the lack of cultural identity of our people. One of our debaters, a young debater, is not in Sniper, but because of Youth Month, we had a call for young people who were interested. And Zara Humphrey, she said, she said, when you hear reggae music, you hear Bob Marley, you think of Jamaica.
Yeah.
When you hear soca music and you hear Marshall Montana, you think of Trinidad.
Yeah.
And then she asked the question, what do they say to identify St. Kitts? Yeah. And I think that's a problem that we are having, because and it's about the education, and that's why we're so largely influenced by the popular culture, because we don't have a strong enough cultural identity. And this policy had the structure to remedy that.
Awesome. And I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think we have I don't even know what to call it, but let's say a situation where culture is not being, in my opinion, appreciated or, highlighted enough right here in St. Kitts and Nevis. I mean, I am someone who, I'm a bit passionate about, culture and the arts, as I consider myself to be someone who is quite involved in performing arts. And you see, it only comes up once in a while, whenever we have carnival on St. Kitts or Culturama on Nevis.
And the thing about that is also too, we have a Department of Culture, yet Carnival is not associated with Department of Culture only when it needs the masquerades and the tangible aspect of culture. Now, that is what we want to move away from. We want culture and culture department of culture on a whole to be sorry, what the word is incorporated into carnival, and move away from just, let's say, masquerade or mako jump. Culture is a way of life. I made a point in my speech where many persons don't know what the national dish is comprised of, and more or less know how to cook it. And these are things that we have to look at. Persons know. And next thing I made a point about is culture and agriculture. How can we now make that something prominent for us to now make money off of? We do have a large we do agriculture in St. Kitts, but why don't we export? Why do we import? Why don't we export?
What that point that Alaric made, our culture is not just about masquerade, it's about what we grow. So that's the last thing, why we grow it, and why it's just stayed here, why it's just local. Exported. You made in your presentation about, you said yam?
Yes, Tanya, yam, and so why we don't make chips and export them? These are things that we have to look at and come up with ideas in how to not just deal with the primary. We learned it in school, the primary and the secondary, but we need to move on to the secondary aspect when creating items and having them as something we can gain revenue off of, not just basic stuff.
Right. And I had the opportunity of attending the sitting, and whilst there, one of the debaters made reference to the Nevis Cultural Development Foundation, and I think there's a cultural foundation as well in Angola or Antigua. I don't remember one of the countries. Angola.
And Barbados also.
And Barbados. So they made reference to those cultural development foundations, but these foundations, they, in my opinion, they focus more so on the arts segment of culture, and not about the history of who we are as Kittitians and Nevisians.
Exactly. We are being influenced.
Yeah.
And some of the things that came out of the cultural policy is that we have so much knowledge out there. We have the knowledge of Zach Nisbet, who they call the doctor of culture. And one of the presenters on the government side, they spoke about why don't we have a website just about St. Kitts and our St. Kitts and Nevis and our culture, and one site where you have information that Zach Nisbet has on that site. So if God forbid when he goes on, that the culture and the history that he has, the information that he has, doesn't go with him, right? And it lives on. So we're saying, one of the presenters proposed that we have all this information, what St. Kitts is about, what we wear our independence wear once a year.
Yeah.
Once a year.
And we don't know what it is. We just wear it. It says, okay, it looks like the flag, but I've learned, I can't tell you right now what it means, but I've learned that there's way more to our cultural wear than we know.
All down to music. When we look at Elimat and the GI brass band.
Brass band.
Yeah. You see, that is evident that not that it wasn't properly taught, but it's like it's not.
It wasn't taught at all.
These are things where we come from in music. We have to ask ourselves where we come from in music. We have music. We listen all, as you said, Bob Marley. We listen Marshall Montana, and we have a touch of everybody else's culture except for ours.
Except for ours, yeah, that is so
and we have to know. Go in, look at the youth, because it's the youth. The youths are the future, and if we don't input the culture or enforce the culture in the youths, then our culture will soon be lost.
Yeah, but I just say youths and young people and everything. I'm different, but sometimes I listen to the music coming from young people. They think it's a Nevis, and you have, let's say, 5% that is highlights St. Kitts and Nevis and our culture and our background, but at the same time it's youthful. and then you have the 95%, my opinion, that is, I can't even find the right word to use, but it's not uplifting. And is it that because they don't know anything about our culture? Or is it that they don't appreciate our culture as young people? When I was going to school, I hardly had any classes about culture and our culture in St. Kitts and Nevis.
They teach you the basics, you know, the flag, the national
Yeah, but
song.
it's not enough.
But it's not enough. It's not
There's so
enough.
many cultural icons in the federation that people, we don't know them.
That's all.
They don't know them, you know. But not to end this conversation on the cultural policy, but we would want to shift gears a bit into the sexual harassment bill. Of course, as we are celebrating 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, and of course the theme is Orange the World Fund. I'm not sure of the other part, but it's definitely Orange the World. I will have to get the other part for that. But on that day, I had my orange. So what was Sniper doing? You had the sexual harassment bill. Could you speak about that?
So I was the mover of the Sexual Harassment Bill 2020. So we spoke in depth. The Sexual Harassment Bill spoke about also education, and it recognizing this when we were doing our research that this sexual harassment exists in St. Kitts and Nevis. It's very prevalent, but we just do not. It's our culture, right? It's our culture to. We're very touchy people and so on, and we don't. Sometimes we might be persons who commit the act of sexual harassment, and sometimes we might be the victim of sexual harassment not knowing to us because of our culture than the education. So this bill spoke about the education and sensitizing the public on what sexual harassment is. So we had the gender affairs person speaking about education. We had the legal, the Attorney General speaking about the framework in which we propose to put out, which entail the time frame, what constitutes sexual harassment. And sexual harassment, basically, what one word that comes up all the time is unwelcome sexual advances, unwelcome. And we know in the workplace, you always have these sexual talks. And in this bill, it says that it should no longer be because it's uncomfortable. So anything unwelcome in sexual regards, it would be under this sexual harassment bill as a criminal offense. So currently we have laws, right? We're guided by
Let's let him continue and then you take the call
We're,
after.
we're guided by the International Labour Organization, but we don't enforce those laws. So right now, for you to be charged, you have to actually have physical assault. So right now, we don't have anything against sexual harassment. It doesn't have a bill just for itself. It's embedded in the public. It's embedded in the sexual violence. It's just a passing remark in those acts. So this remedies this injustice, the absence of legislation allowed perpetrators to get away with these acts.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ferguson. And I think we had a call, but we lost that call. So yes, the phone lines are open and we are taking your call. The call is here. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning. I want to make a contribution towards something I just hear mentioned about sexual harassment. My name is Tango. Okay? Now, there is a girl in Sandy Point who just turned 15 years, who is 9 months pregnant. 6 months pregnant. And I went and I reported it to social welfare, and up to now, the predator is still out. Now, robbing this girl of an education and of her whole life because of vulnerability, poverty, And I am very, very upset about it. What I was told from social welfare is that they played a part because it seemed like it's a three thing. One, social welfare. Two, the school. And three, the police. And from what I learned from social welfare is that the police does not play their role. And it is sad to see that, number one, it is the girl underage, she cannot say yes, she cannot give consent. And number two is that you're going to get her pregnant. And I even heard as much that she sleeps with the man because of poverty situation. So I just want to let the world know what's going on in this country because you're all talking about sexual harassment. So that is my input. Get the government to their work, the police to their work. Thank you.
Thank you, caller, for your input here on Voices, and thank you for sharing that story here. Just before we took that call, I wanted to speak about the theme, which is Orange the World: Fund, Respond, Prevent, and Collect. Again, thank you, caller, for making your contribution here in Voices, and we are continuing this discussion about sexual harassment within our society. And if I may add, I think it has been accepted as the norm, where everywhere you go, you see the sexual predators left, right, and center, and all over the place. Work, school, church, you name it. Play.
I may add, we have to also look at, when it comes to sexual harassment, schools, because even though you would find young children, even in the primary schools, they are sometimes they do sexual harass other persons, other peers in classes, and this stems from not only being
not knowing that it's sexual
harassment, but seeing things at home.
Right.
You know, they see the father doing their mother this, so they come school and they're doing the
on the street,
and they go school and they do the peer that, you know, the classmate that. And if it's not corrected in the schools, then it goes on to become a norm for that child, and the child think it's okay. You know, so we have to now correct these things from even the school point of view. I'm not saying the school is not doing a job, but I'm just saying we have to now look at that also.
Well, some of them are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Let's be frank, some of them are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. But I agree with you, where yes, it is a culture. Sometimes they don't even know that they're engaging in sexual harassment. You know, sometimes you go to a bar to have a drink. Maybe you drink some water or something. And you may see a young lady pass by, and a guy would be there standing, and the comments that are passed, you know, a hunk of cheese and bumper in the road and these kind of things. Yeah. You may take it lightly, but that's sexual harassment.
Yeah, that is sexual harassment.
It rises to that, yeah.
That's sexual harassment, and that could lead to something. Yeah. That could lead to sexual abuse. And then in turn lead to suicide, because the young lady might go and make a complaint and nobody takes she on, and so she decided to take matters into her own hand. Yeah. And kill herself.
What about if that's the pathway that's the only pathway she has to walk, and the other pathway, uncomfortable. So now she's not comfortable walking on that road.
But no, saying that right now, we see sexual harassment as just, again, men, perpetrators being men against women. But we have to understand that neutral, because it happens to men also. It happens to men, and because, again, education, you don't know, and it's like certain things is, as a man, you'd be like, okay, well, I shouldn't be offended. A woman doing this to me is like a prize. But we have to also put on those lenses that it just doesn't happen to men or women, boy or it happens to all, boy and girl, men and women.
But what about those older women who are in their 40s and 50s that prey on these schoolboysism? And it's accepted by society
because
but that's the thing. One of the things that this the bill that we proposed, it was to remedy in the workplace, because it's a lot. This happens a lot in the workplace, and we're hearing more and more on the streets that accusations, and a lot of what reason why these accusations just stay there and not reach to charges being made is because the absence of a legislation like this one. So this bill proposed policies, mandated policies that each workplace would have to put in to govern sexual harassment in the workplace, and put an obligation upon employers that they would have to report any suspicion and any internal sexual harassment to the police, and also policies in school environments, schools, anybody providing any policies for them that they craft themselves and crafted around what the bill allows.
Right, thank you. Let us take a short break to say thank you to our sponsors, and we will be right back to continue this discussion.
Gift for Dad's birthday? Click. Ooh, Janice's retirement party? Click. Ah, outfit for my girl's wedding? Click.
With TDC Airbox, you click, we ship. Register for your free US mailbox today and shop all your favorite stores online. Enjoy the convenience. Free consolidation up to £10. Competitive rates. Free package tracking account with live notifications. Free delivery and, of course, excellent customer service. Visit our website at tdcairbox.com and register today. For more information, visit our offices at the C.A. Paul Industrial Site in St. Kitts and Penny's Industrial Site in Nevis. Follow us on social media at TDC Airbox. TDC Airbox. You click, we ship. Terms and conditions apply.
Every day, your immune system is compromised. You use up vitamin C quickly and even faster with stress and cold.
Burst back into life with Halib Orange. Burst back into health with 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, as much as in 12 oranges. Each effervescent tablet is bursting with fresh fruit flavor. Sparkling orange, lemon and sugar-free blackcurrant, also suitable for diabetics. Health never tasted so good. Halib Orange, bursting with flavor, bursting with health.
Welcome back to Voices, right here on FM 98.9, and we have Skinniper right here in our studios. We will allow Mr. Arachi to continue the discussion on the National Cultural Policy.
Yes, so just to add also, persons may go for loans and grants and what's not, but banks and other institutions don't consider persons in the, well, not only cultural aspect, but like, let's look at the creative arts industry now. That can be considered, that is culture also. And persons in these institutions don't consider those as real jobs and won't give them loans and what's not. And it's hard, it's hard for those persons. And just to talk about it a bit more, let's look at the film director, Nigel Lewis. He was the producer of the film, and it was indeed a good film. But when he reached out for help from different persons and what's not, no one took the time to invest in him. No one took the time to give him support and what's not. He probably had moral support, but in terms of moral support, is not good enough. And these are things we want to change in the creative arts industry. How would something like a film commission can be introduced now, to manage and to create jobs and opportunities for persons in that industry?
Yeah, we have a lot of creative persons, film directors. I know one, Cleon John. He's a creative director. We have a lot of persons here. So what culture needs to stop looking like a stepchild or something on the side. Because
The bastard child.
The bastard child. Culture exists in all industries. It should be how this cultural industry works with the other industries. We have places. We have Jamaica, our Caribbean peers. They invest a lot in culture.
Also Barbados and Trinidad.
Barbados and Trinidad invest a lot in culture because they see that culture, how if their cultural identity is strong, that they can market this. Because especially if we're so tourism reliant, we can't. If a tourist leaves here, they have to be like, I love how they dress, I love this about them. And then when I asked someone on the street and they told me this about St. Kitts, I didn't even need to go to a taxi man, and I just needed to ask the common man on the road. And this is this thing that needs to be fixed.
To reiterate, we need a cultural foundation and an aspect that deals with all the creative arts industry, everything that falls on the culture, to deal with the culture. We have a cultural department, and the culture department only deals with the tangible aspect of culture. We have to now incorporate all of these things into the culture department.
But first, I think before all this happens, we have to recognize culture and persons in this cultural industry and creative arts industry as real jobs. And I think everything would fall in place from then, because to me, the fact that culture is one of the most underfunded ministries is a problem, because that means this is a serious problem. That means you're doing a disservice to our children and our young people, because we can't we can carry on what we see on TV. We can carry on this culture. So in 10 years, who are we as a people?
We have theatre arts in school, but it's not offered widely to everyone. Not only that, we have there's no sort of, as we say again, there's no sort of cultural teaching, the focusing of culture in the primary schools, and if it's not integrated when they're young, sorry, I have to reiterate again, the culture will be lost.
Right, but my question for you, I'm not from St. Kitts, so I don't know too much, but does the culture, art, does it have, is there a home for it in St. Kitts? In Nevis, we have the Nevis Performing Arts Center.
I think that's where the new ministry, that's where it would fall under the new ministry, the entertainment and what's not ministry, for the creative arts part of it. But other than that, we don't have, there's no one deals with that aspect. So it's just a freelancing kind of thing.
Right. And when I say home, it's not just to construct a building that costs millions of dollars.
No.
Home, it's, well, of course, it's the actual facility, but put certain things in place to develop the culture. Let me not say develop the arts, develop culture. And so implement it into the curriculum within the primary school or the secondary school, and I think you said the theatre arts classes.
Theatre arts classes were not offered widely.
Yeah.
Wow. Go ahead.
And another thing we notice when a Kittitian or New Vision goes overseas, and this is how I'm trying to explain how culture is so much. Even from our accent, you go overseas, you spend 3 hours, you come back and you're yanking.
Yeah, you're yanking. And that's a point I wanted to really. You would find tourists coming to St. Kitts, and you would find young persons trying to talk like the.
Well, I'm guilty of it. I went to Trinidad for a week and I came back talking like I'm from Trinidad.
You see, that's a typical. We can't blame you because you don't appreciate, because you have to know your culture to appreciate it. And we, as a small, you think we would have this down pat because we are so small islands, 2 small islands. If Jamaica, you go to Jamaica, you have a Jamaican that live in America since they're 5. And you never, imagine, you never see them yanking, it's straight yardie. So this is how far culture reaches. And the lack of a cultural identity, this is what it causes. So,
not only that, you would find that when you go and people ask, where you from? You say St. Kitts, they'll ask, oh, that's in Jamaica? So there's no set identity, distinct identity.
And as you guys were saying earlier, and you speak about Bob Marley and reggae, you think of Jamaica. When you talk about Marshall Montano and Ailu Sadan and then people that you think of Trinidad. But what about St. Kitts and Nevis?
Yeah.
Who
The young presenter, she said, what when you speak about St. Kitts, maybe cook up and
Macadrum,
and me and Pete. She said maybe that's who identifies us.
Yeah, but you know we have
talents.
cultural icons here. We have talent.
Yeah,
here,
we have
but-
talents. We have upcoming talents. We have Dejo. We have Bio Messiah. We have Lucas Echi. We have in Calypso. We have what was it? I forgot his name. The one who was on BBC.
Miko.
Socrates.
Sorry.
And all these persons have made influence, have spread the good news of St. Kitts and Nevis around the world. And it's just like, they could be bigger. And that's the thing. We have the talents here. It's not that we don't have the talent. We have it here. It's just how we market it and how we brand it as a country. Not just offering beaches and luxury hotels, but our culture. And yes.
I think culture is only appreciated by the persons who are involved. You have government and private sector, which will have a role to play in making sure that it is developed, but in my opinion, they don't pay much attention to it. Only around, like, as I said before, Carnival and Culturama. And St. Kitts when we have music festival and these different festivals, but culture as a whole is not highlighted enough.
And it's kind of one of the things I realize. Imagine we see masquerades when the boats are there and so on, and when boats are in, that's when you see masquerades. It's crazy that the tourists have that the luxury to see the masquerades more than the locals.
That is true.
So this in itself is a problem.
Because you see what happens now. The masquerade sees it as a money making. That is how they generate income. They go, they perform, and they get money. But how is it benefiting the locals? We're not. If no tourists come at all, we're gonna see the masquerade.
Right, with the borders that were closed for so long.
Only Carnival.
Yeah, no, only Carnival. Only once.
Let me go to in the communities, have some sort of walk through with all the different folklore and what's not. These are things that we could put in place that will educate young persons. Not only seeing it when they're going to put Zante, when they're going to put Zante Tulaim.
No, because they didn't put Zante for them, yeah. So this is a problem we're having. So we want this conversation to be had on a national level. We had the privilege to have this debate on a huge platform in the National Assembly chambers, but we want this to get national attention because we don't debate things we don't believe in, and we believe in the sexual harassment bill, and we believe in the adoption of a cultural policy. And as Kittitians and Nevisans, I feel like we can make these changes, and it's not just the task of the government, it's the task of the opposition, and it's the task of the people.
Right.
So
most importantly, the people.
So this is not. So this is all collaborative. So I just all listeners who's viewing on Facebook Live, we just want to any inputs you have on the conversation we had today.
Right. And just to add to what you said, very good. This is not just up to one fraction of society. It's not just up to government or private sector. Sometimes we like to say, what is this person doing and what is that person doing? Well, I am telling you, Skinniper did something. They had a mock parliament sitting and they spoke about the bill and sort the legal framework and all of that about the bill. That is the let me say...
We're doing our civic duty.
Right. That is what they did. So what are you doing? That is my question to you, the listeners. What are you doing? Call us and tell us today. And we are still welcoming your calls. We are approaching the 12 o'clock hour. So we have just 10 more minutes and we will continue this discussion. But at the same time, we are still welcoming your calls to hear your questions, your opinions, your concerns. and add to this very meaningful and fruitful discussion. But we're back and forth. We're talking about the cultural policy, and we're talking about sexual harassment. Because we want you, the listeners, to hear what we are saying as young people and as young youth parliamentarians. And to listen to us and say, well, this is what we're doing. So, adding to the discussion, adding to bringing awareness to sexual harassment, and adding to the implementation of a cultural policy within St. Kitts and Nevis is very important. It means something to Skanaipa. It means something to us as young people who are, some of us are actively involved in culture and the arts, and some of us are actively involved in bringing awareness and to let the perpetrators know that sexual violence and sexual abuse and all forms of domestic violence is not good, it's not appreciated.
We don't want that to be a part of our culture.
No, right. Right. We don't want that.
Yeah.
It needs to be taken away from our culture because it's a norm. Sad to say, it's a norm.
And one of the things that came out of our debate, some member opposite said that, why don't we have a sexual registry? Which was a good point. When I was winding up, I had to tell her that it's a good point, but I think that should be amendment under the sexual violence.
Yes, yes.
Since that is like the larger one.
Yes, yes.
So we as I said, this sexual harassment, and it's noticed when you speak about sexual harassment in a room, you'll be surprised how much persons have stories to tell.
Yeah.
Right. So it is not that it's not happening.
Yeah, that is true.
It is, and we don't have an environment that is conducive for persons to report these instances. So this is why this bill was so important, and that's why these two things that we debated. That's why we didn't end the conversation on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. We didn't end the conversation on Wednesday because Skanaipa knows, we understand the importance of it to our people. So we are continuing this conversation by having the talks like this today, and continuing on for the month and maybe further on about the importance of these two, the adoption of a national cultural policy and the sexual harassment bill.
Right. And just to add to what you were saying, with sexual harassment, it is not that people are not talking about it, or it's not that it's not happening in our society. I should say, if you sit in a room with 10 people, 8 of those 10 people have a story, whether it's a personal story, a story of a friend, a story of a relative, to say about sexual violence. It's just a few days ago I was having a conversation with a young man from Nevis, and he said the same thing. You always going through school or work or anything, you would hear the shushu, as we call it in society. Yeah. This person was being sexually harassed or sexually abused. And the thing about this whole sexual harassment thing is that the perpetrators, they're not strangers.
No, they're not.
Strangers, they're
Something they're actually prominent persons in society.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're just hearing out of Antigua, the education minister.
Yeah, and that's crazy. So it shows that it's not just the guy who you would see with his pants on the bottom and he got his weed in the hand. It's not just him. It's the people
one in the suit.
You understand? And we're trying to bring light to it. We're trying to draw attention to the issue because it is an issue. It is let me say a part of our culture because it has been accepted as the norm. It's okay.
Till now you have parents now actually having a little small business where the daughters have. The daughter is a 15-year-old, and now the big man coming by the mother house to sleep, and all that.
Well, it's true. And it ties into poverty. There are so many families, not just here but across the region, that are suffering from poverty, and they would have to turn to that unfortunate thing to make ends meet
Ends
and
meet,
to,
yes.
keep the lights on, keep the water running, keep the food coming in the house. But that doesn't mean that it is right. We have heard of many instances where girls are being sexually abused or harassed, and parents, they condone it after receiving large sums of money.
Money, yeah. Yep.
And it's the hard truth. I mean, we're not in their position, so we may not understand why they had to do it. But regardless, it's wrong. It's wrong. And that is why we're having this discussion to speak about sexual harassment and all forms of sexual abuse and gender-based violence against men and women, boys and girls, children.
And just this, if it was somewhat politics or something to do with the national level or whatnot, you hear people, a lot of people talking about it, but when it comes to sexual this and sexual that or culture this and culture that,
it's just no one talks.
No one talks.
Because
It's
everyone.
it's not in the best interest of the people.
And this bill is in the public's good. And that's just how we spoke about politics, how we heard politics on the road. That was coming out to our election, last election. We want this sexual harassment debate to be sparked in bars, to be sparked on the road in the commonplace, because we're instrumental in crafting what we want our federation to look like in 10 years, in 5 years. So we should spark this conversation. This is a very important conversation to have.
And it actually has a lot to do with respect also, because if you're saying you're condoning sexual harassment, sexual abuse, and what's not, then quite frankly, you don't have any respect for the people or persons or victims of these acts. So it has a lot to do with our moral
compass.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree, but the sad issue. Let me not say but to say it's okay. But, we have a call. Good morning, caller. You're on Voices.
Good morning, Devon, and good morning, the other young people.
Good morning.
Well, turn it, please. I have been listening with interest to what is being said, and I ask myself, what is the next step? Having debated the bill, having actually put it together, is the association willing to lobby directly the AG's office to have it passed?
So that was a great question. So
yeah, because I want to know, because they have power, because they would be, they're more likely to be the victim, young people. It affects other people, but young people, because they're more attractive, more young and robust, and often in less powerful position to defend themselves.
And mostly needy also.
So they themselves, even though they may be in college or whatever, they should be able to get petitions or whatever to lobby the government to pass it.
Yes.
Don't just wait until, because they said what, 2003? 17 years ago. So are you willing to wait the next 17 years?
That's honestly a great question you're asking. So what we as an association is doing, we're having, because we can't just make a decision by ourselves. It comprises of all our members and stakeholders. So we are having this conversation within internally about what we're going to do, because we have the material here, we have the research that our debaters found.
And
I
must commend you all. It was very well done, presented and everything.
Yes.
And I don't know if you know, it also falls sexual harassment in the workplace.
Yes.
Forms part of the draft labor code that should have been passed in 2013, and up to now has not been passed. The last time I queried, it was saying, by the first quarter of next year.
Right.
So well, maybe you should look at it then, because if it is definite that they're going to pass the new labor laws, and that form part of it, because that law covers at the workplace, but you're talking about general in and off the workplace.
Yes.
then it both can be passed at the same time.
Yeah.
So I want you all to be proactive.
Yes.
I mean, you are being proactive now, you're educating and enlightening. But you have to organize young people to lobby to have it passed, whether before they pass the labor code or at the same time.
Yes.
The one with culture. That again, young people themselves have got to see themselves as artists. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If you're in culture, you must see yourself as being a professional. It isn't like Calypso, you sing a song and then you forget it till next year.
Yeah.
And you're right to ask for a cultural foundation because we need people. I mean, they're making some effort, because I know Zach Nisbet is hired by the Department of Culture to go to the primary schools to teach the young children culture. Obviously, maybe you weren't aware of it, but it is done. I think he goes to both schools in St. Kitts and Nevis, and they're trying to keep the culture alive. That effort itself can be enlarged because you have so many schools, and if you want to do it well, teachers themselves can be taught at the teachers' college.
That's exactly that's the input I was just going to put. Like, now you can have, let's say, Zach Nisbet teaching,
being a lecturer
to these teachers, so that the information can be ever flowing, ever taught.
Yeah.
You're not just teaching the students, the children, but.
And a lot of it has been written about and whatever,
Yes.
And if it is not, because what you have now is a lot of it is under transformation. Even some of what the masquerades say and some of the script that the people of the different plays say.
The songs
they have
play.
changed it up.
Right.
So
well, thank
to
you.
go further,
Thank you, caller. We have
welcome.
approached the end time of the program, so we are going to allow Sniper to give their closing remarks on the topics that were discussed today.
Okay, so just want to leave with you guys, leave with everyone. Let's make culture better. Let's make culture not only about the folklore, but let's look into avenues to make culture better. Our artists need help, our agricultural sector. Let us integrate it into our way of life. Making sure it's prominent in every aspect of our lives. The way we eat, the way we live, the songs we listen to. I find we're a bit too Americanized, and we need to now pull back and look at ourselves and ask ourselves, what is our identity? What do we stand for? Not only for carnival. Apparently, one of our newest culture is going out, partying, But that's not just our only culture. Let's look at our heritage also, Let's look at everything.
Okay. So, and just to respond to that caller who spoke about sexual harassment and what else Sniper is looking to do. As I said, we're having internal discussions about it. We have good research that all our debaters, whether on the government side or opposition side, had. And we're going to pool those resource, those information and that resource together, and then move from there, whether it be sending it to Attorney General's office or the legal department. So I want to leave with you, normalize speaking about sexual harassment, normalize reporting instances of sexual harassment. And as I said, we all have a role to play in making our country instrumental in crafting the future of our country. And I would like to thank Davon Cornelius for having Sniper here and to have a very important conversations on pertinent issues.
Thank you so much, Malachi, and thank you, Sniper, for being guest on this very important program where we had the opportunity of speaking about the bill and the resolution that was debated on Wednesday at the mock Parliament sitting. Again, it was the Sexual Harassment Bill 2020 and the adoption of a national cultural policy at Sniper's Parliament sitting on Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for making Voices possible. Thank you guys for listening and calling in. And to our first-time listeners and to our usual listeners, thank you guys so much for being part of this program. We are going to break right now for the news, and we will return at 12:30 for the second segment of Voices. Thank you.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the Win FM Headline News. The Win FM Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, Carib Brewery, CNC Trading.
Without limits, happy and free. The skin you're in with no apology. The one to seize the day. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. With LLB. Live, love, be. Live, love, be. Be who you know you can be. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. Angostura, lemon, lime, and bitters. Live, love, be.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts, offering 24-hour nursing, therapeutic, and residential care for older adults? It's situated at Otley, 7 miles east of Vastair in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodation to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020, fax 466-8221, or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world. Whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous, you can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air. We get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises, telephone number 466-9595.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Dealing well with a local reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we've got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Dealey Walwyn, people you can trust.
When will a vaccine get here, and how will it be distributed? News of a pending vaccine for the dreaded coronavirus that has claimed close to 1.5 million lives with more than 60 million confirmed cases globally has sparked some excitement at home and abroad. Premier Mark Brantley responded to the vaccine question at his Thursday press conference in Charlestown by urging everyone to be vigilant even as they await the vaccine's arrival.
You have asked a very important question about how that vaccine will be distributed naturally. what we are doing here in the Federation. Now, the lead on this has been and is being taken at the federal level. And that is why it is the federal government that has engaged in terms of making a deposit to secure vaccines. And as I understand it, it is almost as if there's a queue. And you make your deposit in order for you to be in that queue, so that when the vaccine does become available, you will have access to it. How much of that is going to come to Nevis? That discussion has not occurred. Will Nevis allocate its own funding if necessary? I believe, Ms. Washington, you should know and the public should know that I, as Premier, will do everything that I need to do to ensure that the people of Nevis are safe. And so if it comes to that, and we have to make funds available, then we'll simply have to find those funds to ensure that the people of Nevis are safe.
He emphasized, though, that vaccines were being coordinated at the federal level.
Having said that, I go back to where I started to say that this is a federal effort being led by the Ministry of Health on St. Kitts. My understanding is that in the initial phase, we will seek to vaccinate some 20% of our population. And that 20% will largely comprise those who are most vulnerable, the elderly, those who have underlying conditions, and of course those who are on our front line, our police officers, our nursing, our health staff, etc. Now, I'm sure that more accurate information on that will in due course be forthcoming from the Minister of Health in St. Kitts, the Honorable Akila Byron Nisbet.
Is the vaccine safe? The Premier was asked.
All the technical advice that I have seen thus far says that the vaccine, once it gets to market, will be safe. Because while the processes have been expedited, the rigor of the testing has not been compromised. And that whatever vaccine comes will have the full backing of agencies such as the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control in the United States, and national and international agencies, such as we hope we see the WHO, PAHO, and those coming out in support of those vaccines. And so we will not administer vaccines simply because Pfizer or some other company says that their vaccine is good. We will administer vaccines when the international agencies charged with assuring the world that these vaccines are acceptable tell us that they are acceptable. And so I do not think that our public should have any concern. We are, have been, and will continue to be a responsible government.
St. Kitts and Nevis Citizenship by Investment Program, described by local officials as the platinum standard in the market, plans to roll out new offerings in the near future, according to the head of the Citizenship by Investment Unit, Les Khan. He said over the past 5 years, relations were improved with service providers, developers, and agents, and the reputation and stature of the CBI program continues to grow.
We are the only program that offers an accelerated application process without compromising the integrity of our robust due diligence process. Our system is always under review for improvements and to adhere to the government's digitalization agenda. We have also worked on our legislation to improve our brand and to protect the clients who invest with us. St. Kitts and Nevis is the only country in the OECS that has drafted and gazetted an escrow bill. This legislation continues to be improved, and by the end of the year, we will be implementing a payout schedule that all developers must adhere to. The escrow bill was established to ensure that funds are placed into escrow if a title for property was not available. This has now come into play with stringent controls and regulations by our FSRC. This regulation enforces separation of duties, where a service provider cannot be an escrow agent for the same client. The final stage of the escrow bill is currently being drafted into regulation. This will ensure that there is a payout schedule for funds placed in escrow. This schedule is based on completion of certain stages of development and will ensure completion of projects. With this schedule, the government is ensuring that construction continues, jobs created, and an overall direct contribution to the economy is achieved.
Mr. Khan also disclosed that as competition in the CBI market continues to grow, adjustments to the CBI are also being considered.
New entrants into the market with new products geared towards taking away market share from St. Kitts and Nevis is noticeable. As a result, we have had to be creative and come up with new and exciting products towards maintaining our position as the leader. To match this demand, we continue to be most creative and responsive to clients' demands. Most recently, we implemented a limited time offer. For a period of 6 months, we have discounted the Sustainable Growth Fund, whereby there is a reduction of $45,000 on a family of 4. Another recent adjustment to the program was the acceptance of siblings of the main applicant or spouse. These have been done based on demands from clients and agents and to remain competitive in this space. In the coming months, other investment options will be proposed to Cabinet. One such program is the ability for individuals to sell their private homes, as the Prime Minister mentioned a few minutes ago. Under the CBI program, these homes will need to qualify by being of a high standard and having been appraised at a minimum value of USD 400,000. Cabinet has approved this proposal and the legislation will be put in place shortly.
The head of the Citizenship by Investment Unit, Les Khan, on the recent edition of Leadership Matters. The total revenue generated by the CBI over the past 5 years and the number of passports issued to new citizens by investment over that period were not disclosed on the program. CS Global Partners reported in June this year that St. Kitts and Nevis's CBI contributed an estimated 35% of the Federation's revenue over the past 5 years.
The 2020 edition of the 25 Most Remarkable Teens Award was held at the Rivers of Living Water Christian Center due to the COVID-19 protocols currently in place for St. Kitts and Nevis. The ceremony, which took place on Thursday, November 26th, saw 25 teenagers from across the Federation being recognized for their exemplary work ranging from academics to sports. The recipients were Devonzia Clark for spiritual commitment, Tejanique Morton for sports, Janaya Brown for academics, Mariqua Cumberbatch for technology, Julian Francis for his work in volunteerism, Aidan Tuckett for culinary arts, Tyra Penny for coping positively with challenges, Kijari Huggins for spirit of hope, Carol Woods for writing, Ajanaya Batiste for personal decision to change, Nikesha Henry for environmentalism, Elise Thomas for youth activism, Tina French for volunteerism, Ajani Bristol for dance, Danrick Robinson as a scholar athlete, Muriel Knight for leadership, Gregory McGrath for coping positively with challenges, Vanessa Simon for courage to overcome, Scientanicia Thomas for academics, Rodena Da Costa for academics, Malia Erkstein for academics, Taryn Webb for music, Cheyenne Tyson as most promising, Kalia Hanley for courage to overcome, and Khadija Ejin for school pride. Their profiles were read by past recipients and were presented by members of Parliament of the National Assembly, who spoke briefly in acknowledging the efforts of the young people. The 25 Most Remarkable Teens Award recognition ceremony was first introduced in 2011.
Locally owned telecommunications company The Cable chose Thanksgiving to launch a payment card that aims to facilitate its customers' digital business transactions, including bill payments and shopping online with any company or a vendor that accepts MasterCard. The Cable's Platinum Loyalty Card is not a credit card or a debit card. It's a prepaid card that operates with a minimum amount of EC $20 and a maximum amount of EC $10,000. Chief Executive Officer of The Cable, Ms. Patricia Walters, said it took 18 months to arrive at the Thursday, November 26th launch at the Caribbean Confederation of Credit Unions on St. Kitts.
This card allows our customers to go global. It allows our customers to enter the digital society. It's a card that's relevant to this digital age. Our card is a fully loaded, leading-edge MasterCard. So you can shop online, at point of sale, anywhere in the world that accepts MasterCard. So you saw the teasers in a card shape, it's a MasterCard. That's our loyalty card. Rewarding our customers with a digitally enabled loyalty card, it's a futuristic move, yes. We see it as the first point of entry for all of our customers into a world of digitalization. It's an approach which is saying that in an age where everything can be done online, from paying your taxes to renewing your driver's license to booking a doctor's appointment, our customers, those in Fig Tree and those in Sandown Road, should have the same privilege.
Pre-COVID-19, cash remained king in Latin America and the Caribbean, with many accustomed to habitually using cash as cash was more widely accepted by vendors. There was also low acceptance of electronic payments, and some people did not have the support of established financial institutions to acquire a payment card. The coronavirus pandemic over the past 8 months turned that world upside down. Protocols now require physical and social distancing, remote work, more online transactions, and the avoidance of crowded settings. Enter the Cable's Platinum Loyalty Card that now increases access to digital payments and promises to empower its customers.
Cash payments accounted before COVID for about 90% of transactions. Look at what happened with COVID. We were scrambling, and thanks to our partner at Rams and our partner at Best Buy, to allow us to use a drop-in box to put checks in when only the supermarkets and the financial institutions were open. Also thanks to the credit union, because they couldn't come to our stores. We couldn't accept money. We didn't have a MyCable and a digital presence, which we then launched, and we were kind of forced to do that so that people could actually interact and do business with us. We couldn't go into the office, and so customers couldn't call, so we had to then work out how are we going to make ourselves relevant in this digital world. COVID has taught us to innovate, and as Darwin says, it's not the strongest or the fittest that survives, it's those that can most adapt to change. And we want to facilitate people to adapt to this changing world of digitalization and e-commerce. Fast forward, and now in the Cable, where we would have, had about 10% of our customers pay with credit cards or digitally, it's now gone to 40%.
The Cable CEO also shared her vision for more digital access for the people of the Federation.
Between now and next Friday, we want you to call the Cable, go online to our internet site, www.thecable.net, where you can sign up, or come into the office to just confirm your details. Because you're already customers, we just want to make sure that one form of ID is up to date and that the name on the card is how you want it spelled. And that's it, because you're already customers of ours. If you want additional cards, we need the ID of that person too and some details. But between now and next Friday, absolutely, come and sign up so that you'll get your cards by the middle of December. At the Cable, we have a dream that one day our citizens and residents will not be judged by the square miles of this nation. The small population size, a perception of limited access to the digital world, but will be recognized and applauded as leaders in the digital age. A dream that no citizen is left behind in a cashless society.
Chief Executive Officer of the St. Kitts, Nevis and Anguilla National Bank, Mr. Donald Thompson, in brief remarks at the launch, explained the bank's partnership with the Cable.
There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to make this thing a reality. There are many, many companies that are involved, and not just locally in St. Kitts, but across the world, literally. So we have been liaising with companies like MasterCard, with card designers, card processors, and all sorts of companies to make this a reality. And so we bring that sort of leverage, if you will, to the Cable. In addition, the bank has coordinated, as I said, with all parties to ensure that customers of the Cable will receive a card that is equipped with what we call tap and go technology. So no longer will you be swiping, you simply tap the card and that will complete the transaction. And so it allows also for customers to dip, what we call dip. So it's a secured card, and it allows customers to make secure payments. But really, this was through the foresight of the cable that the commercial opportunity for a prepaid card in its customer segment was spotted. The cable saw that by partnering with the bank, it could take the advantage of our vast experience into the card business.
Now, the first of a two-part look at the impact of COVID-19 in this country this Thanksgiving week. As Americans prepare to celebrate the holiday, millions of Americans are out of work and struggling to put food on the table. Lisa Desjardins takes a look at the reality of hunger in America and how the pandemic has made it worse.
A chilly morning and a patient line of people outside this food bank in Arlington, Virginia, not far from Washington, all waiting their turn for fresh fruits and vegetables, milk, eggs,
chicken noodle,
canned goods, and this week, a turkey.
Before Corona came, this line was never this long, so it's definitely bringing more people out here.
We try to address long-term food insecurity.
Charles Meng is the executive director of the Arlington Food Assistance Center, which has spent more than 3 decades helping feed a diverse population. But they have never seen this amount of need. Wang says that since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, demand has soared 45% over last year.
We're seeing new families, families that have never come to us before, families that have been struggling to survive and have been very successful at doing that. But with COVID, with the loss of jobs, we're seeing those families return to us and return to a situation where they need us on a much more regular basis.
We saw that in those we met, like Munir Udri, who moved here in 2015 from Morocco.
Hello, good morning.
He's a food delivery driver, out of work for some of the pandemic. He's now back to 50 hours a week. But with a new baby, a toddler, rent, and sending money back home, he says it's just not enough.
I wake up every day early, I have to go work, then I come late, so I didn't have enough time to my family. I don't have any day off. You know, it's a little bit hard.
Catherine Horn told me she's come to rely on this food after quitting her job at a grocery store for fear of contracting COVID-19.
I just needed to come here and get food to make the rent, basically. And I've known about this place. I used to volunteer here, but...
You used to volunteer here, and now you're...
Now I'm like, I need it. Like, you look, it's like everyone is strong and fit, hardworking people that just get maybe a little bit gray now. We're like, oh... I'm going to take the assistance right now.
There's a lot of us that lost our jobs.
Alice Dade is a cook who says during COVID-19, her job has been touch and go.
I'm not working right now because of my job. We did open up, but we closed back down because of my manager was positive for Corona, so we had to close our store back down.
We also saw some of the group that is the most affected by hunger in America, kids. Right now, by one estimate, as many as 1 out of every 4 kids in America doesn't know where their next meal will come from, and that could rise. That figure comes from Feeding America, the nation's largest hunger relief organization. They estimate that before the pandemic, 35 million Americans of all ages were already living with food insecurity, meaning they couldn't reliably provide enough quality food to everyone in their household. Now, because of COVID-19, Feeding America forecasts that will skyrocket to more than 50 million people, with the hardest hit being children and communities of color.
We're still right in the middle of a food crisis.
Claire Babineau-Fontenot is the CEO of Feeding America.
We're seeing an average increase across our network of about 60%. Now, embedded inside of that 60%, would be some of our food banks that have seen as much as a 400% increase in need.
Wow.
Yeah, so one example of that would be a recent example out of North Texas, where maybe your audience would have seen images of lines and lines of cars of people who are lined up for food distributions. We're continuing to see that happen.
Freelance photojournalist Brenda Ann Keneally has seen that too. She's spent months working for the New York Times documenting American families struggling and coping with food insecurity during the pandemic. For some, it was an awakening.
One family that I photographed in San Diego, an almost last bastion of the middle class. The woman had been working in event planning and things that require social congregating, and so she lost her job. And she has 3 children, and so she started going to food pantries first for herself and then quickly realized that many of her neighbors did not have access to these resources.
Her photos also show the way these families come together, how teachers and communities pitched in to get everyone through.
Every day, things emerge out of nothing. And I think that at Thanksgiving, how thankful I am that I now, and it hasn't been the case, have extra to give. Or even if I don't have extra, I certainly have enough to share. Even if it's not food on that day, it's in life.
Keneally's photos show the mass mobilization to fight hunger during the pandemic, struggling families with food on the table. But federal aid for some programs will run out next month. She hopes this new awareness of those in need will lead to greater efforts to stamp out food insecurity once the pandemic ends.
Thank you.
Back in Arlington, there is shared thanks and concern. Person after person was positive, thankful that places like this are trying to keep up with the tide of need.
Thank God this country is so great that it's welcomed us and helps us to provide the support that's so important, food for the family.
But we also heard concern that things again are turning for the worse. And for many here, a concern that this holiday season, long lines like this for food are again about to grow. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Lisa Desjardins.
That was the Win FM Headline News, brought to you by KDP Enterprises, Caribbean Alliance, Carrie Brewery, CNC Trading, The Grange.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till you walk with a low reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Delia Walwyn, people you can trust.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world. Whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous, you can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air. We get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises, telephone number 466-9595.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts, offering 24-hour nursing, therapeutic, and residential care for older adults? It's situated at Otley, 7 miles east of Vastair in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodation to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020, fax 466-8221, or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Without limits, happy and free. The skin you're in with no apology. The one to seize the day. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. With LLB. Live, love, be. Live, love, be. Be who you know you can be. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. Angostura, lemon, lime, and bitters. Live, love, be.
Found the South 98.9 FM.
Like New Steam Cleaning and Power Washing Service specializes in high pressure washing and floor care, green and chemical cleaning solutions for upholstery, bathrooms, carpets, and windows. We also remove heavy grease off kitchen hoods and extractor fans, or mold and mildew from your home or office. Like New Steam Cleaning and Power Washing Service, renewing all surfaces. We are the steam experts. Call us at 765-4925 or email likenewsteamcleaning@gmail.com. You can also like us on Facebook. Christmas specials on pressure washing services.
A dry and stable air mass, low and moisture will continue to restrict shower activity over and around the islands during the next 24 hours. Today, mostly sunny skies with only a 10% or slight chance of a brief shower. Tonight, mostly fair and cool conditions. Winds northeast at 4 to 10 knots, becoming variable or calm overnight. Seas not exceeding 1.5 meters or 5 feet. Sunset today will be at 5:35 p.m. Sunrise tomorrow at 6:23 a.m. That's your weather forecast for today. Comes with the kind compliments of Breed Easy.
Like New Steam Cleaning and Power Washing Service specializes in high pressure washing and floor care, green and chemical cleaning solutions for upholstery, bathrooms, carpets, and windows. We also remove heavy grease off kitchen hoods and extractor fans, or mold and mildew from your home or office. Like New Steam Cleaning and Power Washing Service, renewing all surfaces. We are the steam experts. Call us at 765-4925 or email likenewsteamcleaning@gmail.com. You can also like us on Facebook. Christmas specials on pressure washing services.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Friday, December 18th and Saturday, December 19th are VAT Days. But you can come today and get pre-approved credit for VAT Day. Save some of the hassle of this VAT Day and drop by some of your local Hosford department stores today. Yes! Come to any Hosford department today and get pre-approved credit for December 18th and December 19th. No down payment necessary. February. That's right, zero money down. And no payment until February 2021. That's right. No payment until February 2021. Come to Horsford's today, where we will be dropping major discount plus pre-approved credit when you shop now. How, you ask? Well, it's simple. All you have to do is visit any of the Horsford's departments, including furniture and appliances, Ashley Furniture Home Store, Building and Nevis Centers, and the Automotive Division. Make your VAT Day wish list, and we'll do the credit check. Come back on VAT Day and get all that you picked with your pre-approved credit and be on your way to a merrier Christmas. Whether it's new furniture, a new stove, or a brand new car, Horsford's is giving you pre-approved credit today. Be on your way to a merrier Christmas. Pre-approved credit today for VAT Days December 18th and December 19th at Horsford's. Visit stores for all details.
Good afternoon, St. Kitts and Nevis, and welcome back. Welcome back to Voices right here on Win FM 98.9. I am your host, Devon Cornelius, and we are continuing this program right here for Friday, November 27, 2020. We had the good people of the St. Kitts National Youth Parliament Association, SCNIPA, here in studios with us, where they spoke about two of the presentations that they made on Wednesday at their mock parliament sitting. It was the Sexual Harassment Bill 2020 and the adoption of a national cultural policy. And so that was the conversation that we had this morning. This afternoon, probably just for the next 15 minutes, I'm going to just add to the discussion. And then at 1 o'clock, we will be joined in studio with Mr. Emery of Amri Bakery here on St. Kitts. So yes, just to add to the discussion, I think the Sexual Harassment Bill 2020, and as we are celebrating or commemorating 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, and of course with the theme Orange the World, Fund, Respond, Prevent, and Collect. I think it's quite timely. As you know, this is a social ill that has been, in my opinion, pushed under the rug, and so the more we can speak about it and the more we can play our role in bringing attention or drawing attention to this issue is very important. And one may ask, well, what are you doing? Or some persons may say, well, you're just talking about it, and I don't believe that is bringing any sort of change. I think that's the first step to change. That is the first step to change. And so the association, they met on Wednesday, and they had their discussion on this bill, Sexual Harassment Bill. I mean, I know we have the Domestic Violence Act and we have other acts related to domestic violence, but there is no piece of legislation for sexual harassment. There's no piece of legislation for sexual harassment, and so I hope that the relevant authorities were listening to the mock parliament sitting on Wednesday, where the young parliamentarians, the youth parliamentarians, had the opportunity of presenting and making their case as to why they believe there should be a piece of legislation, or a bill rather, in regards to sexual harassment. But it was a very good discussion, and it was a very good debate on Wednesday. Very, very good debate. And as I was going through the internet, I came across a piece by Anand Budram, where he speaks about rape and sexual harassment and domestic violence and all of these social ills or social ill. He says rape as a very specific form of violence against women and girls is rooted in a complex set of patriarchal beliefs, power, and control that continue to create a social environment in which sexual violence is pervasive and normalized. Such culture is perpetuated, with the use of certain types of language, objectification of bodies, and glamorization of violence. Exact numbers of rapes or sexual assaults are notoriously difficult to determine due to many victims' fears of reporting sexual abuse, frequent latitude and impunity for perpetrators, and stigma towards survivors in communities and their subsequent silence. I think this is a very big issue because, of course, you have persons who have been sexually harassed or sexually abused, but again, as we said earlier, and as we continue to say, the issue lies with reporting it. That is where the issue lies, reporting it and speaking about it and letting persons, no, this is what took place. This unfortunate incident is what took place, and bringing light to the issue and drawing attention to the issue. It says the UN, which is the United Nations, says approximately 15 million adolescent girls worldwide, ages 15 to 19, have experienced forced sexual intercourse or other sexual actions. And 1 of every 3 women worldwide is estimated to have suffered either physical or sexual violence, or both, from an intimate partner or sexual violence by a non-partner. And so it's saying not just intimate persons, whether it be a family friend or a father, a brother, a cousin, or their boyfriend, but you have other, it could be by a stranger, you never know. It says behaviors commonly associated with rape include victim blaming, such as mode of dress, sexual objectification, denial of widespread rape, and or refusing to acknowledge the harm of sexual harassment or assault. Some of us look at sexual harassment as, that's not a big deal. That is not a big deal. That is what we dub sexual harassment as. Some persons may say, oh, I don't see anything wrong with telling a young lady that she looks good. But you're doing it over and over and over, and they don't want that to happen. And so you're sexually harassing them and telling them provocative things and all manner of things. Oh my. It says here that in recent years, the voices of survivors and activists through campaigns such as #MeToo, #TimesUp, #NotOneMore, #Balance, TonPorc, that is TONPORC, that's a new one for me, and others have put the spotlight on this, but the crescendo is yet to reach most of the world, including Caribbean nations. But I think it is not really much an issue where persons are not aware of sexual harassment and sexual abuse among our women and girls, and of course among men as well. I think the issue is that it's classified as a touchy topic, or classified as a topic that one does not want to get involved to. They don't want to speak about it then. And so even though you may hear it on the road, you may hear it through in town or in the bars or something like that, hearing it on a professional or on an official platform is highly unlikely. It's true and it's sad, but it's highly unlikely. So you would hardly hear people speaking about sexual violence and all of that on official platforms and facilitating different forums and meetings, symposiums, you name it, to speak on this issue, because it has been dubbed in society as quite touchy and quite delicate. And then you also have those persons who deem it unnecessary, who deem it not important. This is not important, so we're not going to talk about it, and we're not going to bring attention or draw attention towards it. But now in this piece, it asks the question. The question says, who are the perpetrators? It says as many as 32,559 rapes were reported in India in 2017, and the accused were known to the victims in 93.1% of the cases, according to the National Crime Records Bureau. Now it says of the 30,299 such cases, the accused were members of the victim's family in 3,155. As many as 16,591 rapes were against family, friends, employers, neighbors, or other known persons. In 10,553 cases, the accused were friends, online friends, live-in partners, or separated husbands of the victims. About 85 to 90% of sexual assaults reported by college women in the United States are perpetrated by someone known to the victim. About half occur on a date, and it says the most common locations are the man's or woman's home in the context of a party or a date. And it says as well, the perpetrators may range from classmates to neighbors. Now, the numbers are part of disturbing statistics on rapes and sexual offenses committed by people known to victims. It says here in 2018, researchers at the Glasgow University studied the cases of 991 women in Scotland who had faced sexual assault and rape. The study found that 90% of the offenders were known to the victim in various capacities, such as boyfriend, lover, husband, family, employer, neighbor, or an associate. And so the statistics are telling us that the perpetrators of sexual harassment or sexual abuse is more known family members and less strangers. This is what the statistics is saying right here. And it's a very important discussion, one that needs to be talked about more on our different platforms. Some persons have taken advantage of social media and making sure that they're doing their part in bringing light or drawing attention to this social ill. When I say taking advantage, of course I mean taking advantage in a good way. And so you have different social media platforms, whether it be Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, Instagram. Persons are utilizing these forums to draw attention to this issue. And of course, I don't believe it's not just because of the 16 days of activism that is currently going on. It has been happening for some time. And again, it's not something entirely new. And it is not something that is news or anything. But it is something that many persons across the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis and across the region have been lobbying for and have been pushing for. If you follow on social media, you will see that there's a young man in Nevis who is currently protesting for there to be a sex offenders registry. And so that person, I think they meet on Thursdays in Nevis at 10 a.m. and they are playing their part in bringing attention and shedding light to this issue. So we are just going to take a short break, take a break, and we will return. And when we return, we will have Mr. Emery of Amri Bakery, where he will be making an announcement. So stay tuned, and thank you guys for again listening to Voices, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll take the short break and we will be right back.
Paint it, tile it, improve it. Your walls, paint it. Your floors, tile it. Your home, improve it. Huge savings at the Hosford's Building Center. Paint it, tile it, improve it. Sales event happening now. Yes. Come to Hosford's Building Center now and get savings of 25% off all paint and up to 75% off all tile. Yes. Nothing's are gonna keep at Hosford's with up to 75% off piles of tiles in all styles and 25% off all paint. Come now and get a chance to win $500 shopping spree at Value Mart with the purchase of 5 gallons of paint or more. That's right. Buy 5 gallons or more of paint and you get a chance to win $500 in free groceries. Starting now until December 31st, 2020. It's your home. So paint it, tile it, improve it. At Hosford's Building and Nevis Center's year-end Paint It, Tile It, Improve It sale. Come now. Save big and simply paint it, tile it, and improve it. The event starts now and ends December 31st, 2020. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details. It's official! Friday, December 18th and Saturday, December 19th are VAT days. But you can come today and get pre-approved credit for VAT Day. Save some of the hassle of this VAT Day and drop by some of your local Hosford's department stores today. Yes! Come to any Hosford's department today and get pre-approved credit for December 18th and December 19th. No down payment necessary. That's right, zero money down. And no payment until February 2021. That's right, no payment until February 2021. Come to Hosford's today, where we will be dropping major discount plus pre-approved credit when you shop now. How, you ask? Well, it's simple. All you have to do is visit any of the Hosford's departments, including furniture and appliances, Ashley Furniture Home Store, Building and Nevis Centers, and the Automotive Division. Make your VAT Day wish list, and we'll do the credit check. Come back on VAT Day and get all that you picked with your pre-approved credit and be on your way to a merrier Christmas. Whether it's new furniture, a new stove, or a brand new car, Hosford's is giving you pre-approved credit today. Be on your way to a merrier Christmas. Pre-approved credit today for VAT Days December 18th and December 19th at Hosford's. Visit stores for all details.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Voices right here on 1FM 98.9. I'm your host, Devon Cornelius, for today, Friday, November 27, 2020. And, just to note, today is Black Friday, and so there are a number of businesses across the Federation that are doing their sales, and, regardless of the COVID-19 pandemic, where we have reduced income, persons are utilizing taking advantage of this great opportunity or opportunities that are being presented by the different business places in St. Kitts and Nevis. And also on the internet, you have a lot of businesses and a lot of stores in the US and other countries in the UK. They are offering a number of deals. Well, maybe not the UK because they're on lockdown right now because of the pandemic, but there are a number of businesses that are offering some deals. I was coming through town this morning and I saw some businesses open and they're have sale on a wide variety of items and a wide variety of different things that they want to do. And so it's a very busy day right here in St. Kitts and Nevis. But we are now being joined by some representatives of Mr. Emery of the Amri Bakery here in St. Kitts. And this afternoon, he will be making an announcement regarding his business. So we'll just give them some time to get themselves all settled in, and we will go forward with this discussion for this afternoon. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And thank you guys so much for being a part of this program, Voices, right here on 1FM 98.9. I'll just give the two ladies and Mr. Amri some time to catch themselves, because I know the sun is really hot outside. The sun is really, really hot outside. So I was out there this morning and oh my. So we're going to take a short break and then we will return. Good afternoon and welcome back to Voices right here on 1FM 98.9. I'm your host, Devon Cornelius, and we have in studio this afternoon some wonderful people, some representatives of Amri Bakery right here on St. Kitts. We have Mr. Amory, we have Miss Maloney, and we have Miss McCall. But Mr. Amory is the owner of Amri Bakery right here on St. Kitts, and I will just allow him to give his opening remarks.
Well, good afternoon to all the listeners. Mr. Devon Cornelius.
Yes.
Thank you for inviting us. I'd like to introduce two of the representatives of Amri Enterprises who will join us this afternoon. That's Ms. Denise Maloney, the director of Amri Enterprises, and Ms. Teresa McCall, the secretary of Amri Enterprises. One of the secretaries, and a great secretary who's also a fantastic announcer, and she has a lot of things to announce this afternoon. So having said that, I'd like to turn the mic over to Ms. McCall, who have an announcement to make.
Okay, good afternoon to everyone. It's good to be here. Thank you for having us. Of course, we are here to make an announcement. It is because, to be honest, Amri Bakery is leading in assisting individuals of St. Kitts and Nevis. Mr. Amri, as you might be aware, is always thinking about his customers. How do we help the customers? And so when the pandemic hit, what he did, he sought to come up with ways that he could assist the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, and he has been doing so. So he has come up with yet another way to assist. So in December, that's from December 1st, for the entire month, he's going to have a buy one, get one free deal. But this is a special deal in that it's going to be a lovely French salami sandwich, okay, which is $10 each. However, when you think of the fact that you're paying $10 for one and you're getting two, that's an awesome deal, right? And it is, of course, geared towards assisting individuals who would need the assistance, because sometimes I don't know if you would have this issue, but sometimes you come to work and all you have is that last $20 and you need to make it stretch. And this is one of the ways that Mr. Amri has thought of to help the people of St. Kitts and Nevis to make your dollar last just a little longer. So it's going to be from the 1st of December until the ending of December. You come in anytime in the day from 6 a.m. until we close. You come in, you ask for a French salami sandwich, and you will get 2.
For the cost of $10.
$10. I mean, it's $10 for one, but you get two for $10. Imagine what you can do with both of them.
Yeah.
Somebody might have their girlfriend or their boyfriend. You want to share lunch with them. You only have $10, but it's the thought that counts.
Yeah,
you understand?
definitely.
Somebody might have 2 children. You only have $10. You could manfully go in. You get the sandwiches. You have one for yourself, and you divide the other one between the 2 children. It's really to bring some relief, because as you are aware, the economic impact that has been brought about by COVID, it's a difficult thing to deal with.
Definitely.
And so at Mr. Amari's hat is helping the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, and this is one of the ways that he's doing that. So please capitalize, please come and patronize, and so forth. Now, also, just to give you a bit of a taste before the 1st, okay? I see you're smiling.
Mouth watering already.
Yes, yes. Now, he's also someone who likes to give samples. So on Monday, that's Monday coming, that's the last day of November, you come into the bakery, you buy anything. It could be the smallest thing. It could be a cookie. It could be a cheese stick, the smallest thing, or the biggest thing. You buy anything, and you will get a sample of these delicious sandwiches. And trust me, I mean, they will be filled with goodness. French salami, cheese, lettuce, tomatoes on French bread.
Don't forget the love.
Okay, I filled with love as well.
Yes.
Every love.
And maybe
Splash of love.
Yeah, well, not a splash. We're trying a whole lot of love. A whole lot of love in there.
Yes.
Okay, so you come in, you purchase anything. I mean, anything, the smallest thing, and you can get a sample.
Wow.
So that you will get a taste of what you're going to enjoy for the rest of the month of December.
Awesome. I think that's a wonderful initiative. I would dare say wonderful is an understatement, but wonderful, that is an excellent, superb initiative, and it is definitely something that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis are looking forward to, particularly those on St. Kitts. And, during these COVID-19 times, so many persons have been displaced because of the pandemic. And I think this is a way of definitely giving back to the customers and those who have been supporting the business over the years. But I see Miss Maloney down there, with writing away, and she has all that notes. I think she definitely has something to add. Is that so, Miss Maloney?
Well, we're just waiting for the customers to come and patronize, so we can get to serve the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, which is a passion of ours.
Awesome, definitely. So we are continuing our short discussion for today. Is there anything that you would like to add, Mr. Emery?
Yes, Devon, I would like to also add some good news, better news. And this depends also on the general public, our customers and general public who are listening today. We all have to work together. We're in this together. It's a situation that we never expected, but in a good way, it shows us how we can come together as a community, come together as a family. Some families who are not talking realize the importance of being a family. When you have a problem, the most important people in your life is really your family, who you can depend on. And so, for us, the most important is our customers, who we can depend on, who we have depended on for the past 71 years. And this is our way of showing our appreciation for their support for the business. And it's also not only a gift from me, but it's a gift from the general staff of the business, because every staff member, from the junior to the senior staff members, they're very excited, very happy when our customers are happy. They're happy to donate their time and to give whatever assistance they can give. And now we're giving not only our time, but our products, which will go a long way. Many persons have stopped in the street, have texted me, called me, and say how much they appreciate the half price that we give every day, from 6 a.m. to 7:30 a.m., and from 5 p.m. to closing time every day, Monday to Saturday. All products are sold at half price. And it's gone a long way. You know, some families purchase a dozen hamburgers and they get another dozen. And this they can give to some other family members if they can't use all themselves. And some persons have businesses. They purchase 10 dozen and they get another 10 dozen. So they make an extra profit, which goes towards helping to pay their bills. And by doing this, everyone helps each other. Your hand and my hand come together to show our support. And so I'm asking the public on this occasion to come out, to continue to come out and show your support to our business, who are showing our support for you. The more you do for us, the more we can do for you. And so during the month of December, this is supposed to be our last month of the half price. I would like to continue because the financial situation in St. Kitts and Nevis is not going to change anytime soon. It'll be a while. Although some persons have jobs, there are many persons who are without jobs. And because of your support, we have been able to employ many persons to work in the business. And by doing that, they're now able to provide an income and support their families, their kids, help to pay some of their bills. So it goes a long way, you know, helping each other. So once the public and our customers can continue to support the business over this next 4 weeks during the Christmas period, December period, we will be committed to extend the half price project we have right now going into the new year, and I will commit myself until the end of June, so another 6 months. And it's a long time, but it's a commitment that we want to make to everyone. And we are dependent on your support. Come out. We'll be having, throughout the next 6 months, or perhaps beyond that time, we're here for you, 100%. We had 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago, we had a lunch. We produced 5,420 meals, which were very well received. Our chefs were happy to produce them, to make them. We got a lot of compliments. And to be honest with you, I would love to do it again. We had a great time. You know, we look at the faces of persons who received their lunches, and many persons said to me they didn't have to cook that day. Yeah. So imagine how much money they saved collectively, how much money we all saved, whether on grocery items or even on gasoline to cook your meals. So we would love to do it again, but we have to work together to make it happen. So the more you support us, the more we support you. That's how it works. Okay?
Awesome. And you know, Mr. Emery, I get the sense that this is about the people.
It is.
Asking for the support of the people to help the people.
Yes.
And one may ask, well, I mean, how are you guys doing this during the pandemic? Because you know, there's some businesses that may not be able to do this, but I think it's again about the people for the people, and it must be commended. And I think persons they appreciate what is being done, and I will play my part. I will stop by and get one of those delicious sandwiches. I've never had it. What's the name of it again? It's the
French salami sandwich.
French salami sandwich. Oh my!
Imported the salami.
Oh my! So I'll be taken to France after I eat this.
So let's start with France, and then maybe later on we add a little Italian sandwich, Italian sausage, and we move to Italy.
Awesome.
But something I want to mention, which is important.
Go ahead.
I would like to thank my bankers, National Bank. So let's give National Bank a round of applause. Okay. They have been supporting our business for several years, from the chairman come right down, all the board members. They know my passion is to give. I said so often, some persons have a lot, but would never give. Others have a little and would always give. Some persons would never even give their time. They're too busy. And so I have my commitments as well to the bank, but I still want to give. And therefore, that's why I want to thank the bank for working with us here at Am Enterprises, because we don't have unlimited funds. And the bank, we could not do this without the bank. So I want to thank the bank. I hope you're all listening, all of you, all the staff members. We want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and to let you know that we will stick beside you. National Bank is a great bank.
It is.
It's a local bank, so you also have to go and support our local bank. I just wish that I had gone to National Bank a long time ago, sooner. Much sooner. So I'm very grateful to the bank.
Right. Thank you, and thank you guys so much for, this opportunity, for you to come and speak more about this fantastic initiative that you guys are doing. And again, as I said earlier, it's going to be well received by the general public. I mean, you already have me because I'm interested in that sandwich. You already have me, but it's going to be well received. And as we wrap up, I'll just allow the ladies to give some closing remarks. Maybe Miss Maloney, I see you looking at your notes over there.
I see you like calling on me. Yes, I would just like to say thanks to our customers, our diehard customers, the general public on a whole, for their support. Without them, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be where we are right now. So continue to support Amory Bakery so we can serve you. This pandemic has taught us many things, some bad, some good. But I want all of us to remember one good thing, one small act of kindness. Just show some kind of kindness to someone. Just pay it forward, and it goes a long way. So I just want to thank God for Mr. Amory and his family, thank our staff, thank the general public, thank our customers, thank all who came out on the 15th. It was an amazing time serving you, the general public, serving the St. Kitts and Nevis, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. So we just want to say thanks to everybody. Just continue to patronize our business so we can continue to serve you.
Right.
And remember, American Bakery.
Amory Bakery.
Amory Bakery.
Amory Bakery.
Quality you can taste. A name you can definitely trust.
Amen.
And I also have one more thing to say. I want to make a presentation to the staff at the beautiful Winnet M. We have some masks that we want to present to the general staff and use them and be safe.
Thank you very much. So I'm camera, so I'll just thank you very much, Mr. Amory. He presented us with some face masks that we're definitely in need of.
Yeah, different colors.
We have red and we have black. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for being here to speak more about your initiative, and we hope to see you soon because I know that you guys have some good things in store. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Paint it, tile it, improve it. Your walls, paint it. Your floors, tile it. Your home, improve savings at the Hartsford's Building Center. Paint it, tile it, improve it. Sales event happening now. Yes. Come to Hartsford's Building Center now and get savings of 25% off all paint and up to 75% off all tiles. Yes. Nothing's are gonna keep at Hartsford's with up to 75% off piles of tiles in all styles and 25% off all paint. Come now and get a chance to win $500 shopping spree at Value Mart with the purchase of 5 gallons of paint or more. That's right. Buy 5 gallons or more of paint and you get a chance to win $500 in free groceries. Starting now until December 31st, 2020. It's your home. So paint it, tile it, improve it. At Hartsford's Building and Nevis Center's year-end Paint It, Tile It, Improve It sale. Come now. Save big and simply paint it, tile it, and improve it. The event starts now and ends December 31st, 2020. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details. It's official! Friday, December 18th and Saturday, December 19th are VAT days. But you can come today and get pre-approved credit for VAT Day. Save some of the hassle of this VAT Day and drop by some of your local Hartsford's department stores today. Yes! Come to any Hartsford's department today and get pre-approved credit for December 18th and December 19th. No down payment necessary. That's right, zero money down. And no payment until February 2021. That's right. No payment until February 2021. Come to Hartsford's today, where we will be dropping major discount plus pre-approved credit when you shop now. How, you ask? Well, it's simple. All you have to do is visit any of the Hartsford's departments, including furniture and appliances, Ashley Furniture Home Store, Building and Nevis Centers, and the Automotive Division. Make your VAT Day wish list, and we'll do the credit check. Come back on VAT Day and get all that you picked with your pre-approved credit and be on your way to a merrier Christmas. Whether it's new furniture, a new stove, or a brand new car, Hartsford's is giving you pre-approved credit today. Be on your way to a merrier Christmas. Pre-approved credit today for VAT Days December 18th and December 19th at Hartsford's. Visit stores for all details.
Yes, good afternoon and welcome back to Voices right here on 1FM 98.9. We are approaching the 1:30 end time, so we are wrapping up basically. And let me just say thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you to our sponsors for making Voices possible here yet again, right here on 1FM 98.9. I'm your host, Devon Cornelius, and we're just going to continue for the next 9 minutes until 1:30. Where we are going to speak a little bit more about what transpired here today. So for the first half, we had the wonderful young people from Skinniper. I mean, I'm young too, but the wonderful young people from Skinniper. They spoke about the sexual harassment bill that they had, as well as the adoption of a national cultural policy. Speaking about the good that the Federation can benefit from if such policy is implemented, as well as the sexual harassment bill. And then this afternoon we had some lovely people joining us here in studio from Amory Bakery, where they were making a special and very important announcement where you could go to the bakery and purchase a French salami sandwich for a cost of just $10, and you receive another one completely free. So you buy one, you get one free. So they must be commended for the work that they continue to do and the role that they continue to play in making St. Kitts and Nevis a better place. I think they have been doing excellent work since the commencement of the whole COVID-19 pandemic, and we must commend them. So this is basically, us wrapping up Voices and just taking maybe just 2 more calls to share your opinion, share your views, comments, any questions that you may have on the presentations that were made today, whether it be from the representatives of Skinniper or from the representatives of Amory Bakery. And, just me adding my 2 cents, we all have a role to play. And as I said, and as I continue to say, it's not just up to one fraction of the society. It's not just up to government or private sector, but everybody. But we'll take this call. Good afternoon, caller. You're right here on Voices.
Hi, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Today's Friday, so I'm giving thanks.
Thank God it's Friday. What's on your program today?
Today we had SCNIPA, the St. Kitts National Youth Parliament Association. They were here this morning talking about the sexual harassment bill that they presented in Parliament on Wednesday at their mock Parliament sitting. And they also spoke about the adoption of a national cultural policy. And we just had some representatives from Amory Bakery where they made an announcement where you could visit the store and purchase I think it's a French salami sandwich and receive one free. So you buy one, get one free.
Thank you very much. Very important to be informed. At this moment, we are still under this epidemic that is troubling us. And so therefore, I think that the more informed our people are, the better off we will be.
Yes.
And if you are informed, then you will avoid facing some embarrassment from those who know and expect that you will know. And they are not afraid to embarrass you or insult you, because most people who have authority think that that is the best way to go. Some of them don't realize that if you put honey, it is better rather than to use vinegar. It's better to gain a friend than to create an enemy. And so therefore, one must learn not to use their authority to push over people and embarrass them and insult them. Because the man you embarrass today and insult today, you're going to probably need him tomorrow. And so therefore, we must think fast and quick. There's a thing that they use, an instrument that they use to take your temperature. And I don't know how much information you have on that equipment. People keep putting it to your head. And I have read and heard lots of information on that it shouldn't be put to your brains because of the equipment that is using it. But for some reason, other people insist on putting it to your head. So I'm not sure why. I think that people are not informed as much as they should be. And those who in authority give instruction to those who are willing to enforce and carry out those authority. The main thing is to make sure you sanitize, wash your hands, and wear your mask. Those are very important. And your temperature, if they check your temperature and you don't feel like you want to go into a place where it's based on where they're going to put that equipment, you don't go. But sometimes you need to. But we need to be very informed. Those who carry out instructions, police officers, members of the defense force, nurses, doctors, and you need to inform when you go to a doctor too, because at the same time, you're the one who taking the medicine. The doctor is only a practitioner. He's practicing on you. And so if he miss, you will be history. So know the effect of the medicine that you're taking.
Right.
Have a good idea what they're putting in you and what they're doing to you. And if you don't, at the end of the day, you or me will suffer the consequence of the action that they do, that they carry out on you. So I will say have a nice weekend. Thank you very much for your information. Take care of yourself. If I can't see you when I want, I'll try and see you when I can. Have a good day, my friend.
Thank you, caller, for your input right here on Voices, 1FM 98.9. We'll take just one more call to wrap up this show right here on 1FM. Today is Friday, November 27. It's an awesome day. It's Black Friday. A number of sales are happening throughout the Federation with different businesses and a number of discounts and deals and specials. And so for those who can, go out and take advantage, because probably you may wanted to, buy something in September or in October and you probably couldn't have afforded it. But this is the opportunity now, and as Christmas is fast approaching, you go out and you begin to take advantage of these special deals and the wonderful opportunities that are being presented with you. But we are approaching the end time, and so just to do a short recap, we had SCNIPA, that is the St. Kitts National Youth Parliament Association, where they spoke about their recent sitting on Wednesday, November 25, right here in St. Kitts at the National Assembly Chambers Government Headquarters, where they presented on the Sexual Harassment Bill 2020 and the adoption of a national cultural policy. And I think the bills are quite timely, as we are currently observing 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And with the cultural policy resolution, we are currently celebrating Carnival. Some persons say Carnival isn't happening. Carnival is happening, however, in a virtual way. And so we are still celebrating Carnival, and so the two bills are quite timely. Yes, the pandemic has, done some bad, has done some good. But Skenaper is out there, and they're doing their thing, and they're continuing to lobby for those persons who may not be able to lobby for themselves. And they are playing their part and doing their civic duty and their civic responsibility in making sure that St. Kitts and Nevis continues to be a wonderful and a proud nation. St. Kitts and Nevis is blessed. We are blessed. And yeah, I've said it before, and I will continue to say it. We are a blessed people, and we must be grateful for, for the opportunities that we have had, and for, just being alive, giving thanks. And then we had the Amory Bakery right here in St. Kitts. They were here on Voices speaking about a promo or an initiative that they are currently doing. They're giving back to our people amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, and we must commend them. So yes, thank you guys so much for being a part of Voices for today, Friday, November 27, 2020. I was your host, Devon Cornelius. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors for this program. Thank you to the usual listeners, and thank you to the first-time listeners, and to those persons who are tuning day after day after day for every program. Thank you guys so much for your loyalty, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, because regardless of the pandemic, we are still busy. We are still trying to live a regular life and get things done, whether it be through work or school or play or just your social life. So thank you guys so much for listening to Voices right here on your radio. This is WinFM 98.9, and thank you again. I can't say thank you so much, because it's always good to appreciate our people and be grateful for the contribution that they continue to make in our society. So tomorrow you'll catch us here at 11 a.m. again for another edition of Inside the News. You can check out our Facebook page for a poster. So we are now going to end this program, and we are going to see you next time.
Building Center, paint it, tile it, improve it. Sales event happening now. Yes. Come to Horsford's Building Center now and get savings of 25% off all paint and up to 75% off all tiles. Yes. Enough things are gonna keep at Horsford's with up to 75% off piles of tiles in all styles and 25% off all paint. Come now and get a chance to win $500 shopping spree at Value Mart with the purchase of 5 gallons of paint or more. That's right. Buy 5 gallons or more of paint and you get a chance to win $500 in free groceries starting now until December 31st, 2020. It's your home, so paint it, tile it, improve it at Horsford's Building and Nevis Center's year-end Paint It, Tile It, Improve It sale. Come now, save big, and simply paint it, tile it, and improve it. The event starts now and ends December 31st, 2020. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Why I love Christmas,